Great, so just lay down on your back. Feel free to elevate your head if you need to, or add some support behind your knees. Maybe today you decide to keep your knees bent or lay on one side. I want you to make sure that your body feels comfy here. So take your time. Readjust till you feel supported. Find a place to rest your hands where your arms and your shoulders can relax. And then once you feel settled here, close your eyes or soften your gaze. Let your body grow heavy and relaxed, sinking into the support of the floor. And start to draw all of your attention to your breathing. Bring your attention to the belly and just see if you can feel the abdomen rise as you breathe in. And the abdomen soften and fall as you breathe out. As you breathe through your nose, gradually increasing that breath. So as you breathe in, the belly lifts, the ribs expand, the chest lifts. And as you breathe out, chest softens, ribs soften, belly softens. Let's take a few more nice deep breaths here. And nice and slow as you inhale, you can bend your knees. And let's just draw the knees in towards the chest. Resting your hands onto your legs, slowly start to rock from side to side. With your knees in the center, let's quietly lower our feet down to the mat. With your feet flat on the floor, just walking your feet out to mat width apart, knees still bent. Rest your hands onto your abdomen. Come back to that deep belly breath, feeling the abdomen expand into the palms. The back of the skull heavy, the tailbone nice and heavy. Next time you exhale, let your knees sink over to the right side. We're going to keep our heels really heavy too. With an inhale, slowly drawing the legs back to the center, thinking of the spine, the back of the pelvis getting heavy towards the earth. And we'll exhale the knees over to the left side. Inhaling back to the middle. And I want you to keep going slowly side to side, thinking of the parts of the body in contact with the floor staying really grounded. The next time your knees sink over to the right side, don't rush to get there, but when you get there, let's just hold there in a gentle twist. You're welcome to turn your gaze out over your left shoulder. Let your knees be heavy. Keep breathing down into your abdomen. Nice deep breath in. Slowly bring your head and your knees to center. As you breathe out, we'll let the knees sink over to the left. The option of turning your gaze out over your right shoulder, pausing here. Big breath in, coming back to the center. Heel toeing your feet back to about hip width apart. And then let's slowly invite the knees back in towards the chest, resting one hand on each knee. From here, I want you to draw your knees towards your armpits so they get a little bit wider apart as you reach your sits bones forward, so you lengthen through the spine. And keep breathing into your abdomen. A little opening for the hips, keeping the backs of the shoulders nice and heavy, chest open. And from here, I want you to cross your right ankle over top of your left ankle. So as you do that, your knees might get a little narrower. That's fine. Right ankle on top of the left ankle, drawing the knees in towards the body, but continuing to reach the sits bones forward, lengthening through the lower back. And then you're welcome to stay here breathing into the belly or keeping the ankles crossed, engaging your abdominal muscles. We'll exhale and slowly lower the feet down to the mat. Once your feet touch down, you're going to have your left heel in closest to your pelvis, right foot resting in front, and we're going to allow the knees to fall open to the sides. So you might add some support under your thighs or under your knees if that feels safer for your knees and your hips, or just let them be nice and heavy, lengthening more through the fronts of the thighs. The hands can rest back onto the abdomen, and I want you to gently draw your chin towards your chest, lengthen the back of your neck, and then let the back of your rib cage get a little heavier. The closer the heels are in towards the pelvis, the deeper this will feel. So you can lessen the intensity by moving your heels further away from you. We're adding that height underneath the legs to support them. As you breathe out, let's slowly extend the legs all the way out. And then inhale, I'm just going to reach your arms up over your head, stretching out through your fingers and your toes, tensing up all the muscles of the body. And breathing out, soften. You're going to loop the right hand around the left wrist, and I want you to gently hug your shoulder blades towards one another so shoulders aren't up by the ears. And then engaging through your core, as you inhale, let's carefully slide our arms, head, and shoulders towards the right. Okay. If this feels like too much for your shoulders today, feel free to draw your arms down instead. Allow the left hip, left side of the rib cage, left shoulder to sink towards the floor. If you want to deepen this, walk your feet a little bit to the right also. Your left side of the body super heavy, taking your breath into that left side. Engaging through your core. As you inhale, let's walk the feet back to the middle and then carefully slide the upper body back to the middle. You can draw your arms down and then slowly bring your knees back in towards you. Resting your hands on your legs, rock from side to side or make circles with your knees. With the knees back in the center, one palm resting on each knee. Let's cross our left ankle over our right ankle this time. Drawing your knees in towards you, maintaining as much length in your spine as you can. And you're welcome to linger here today or contract through your core. Breathing out, we'll slowly lower the feet to the floor, keeping the ankles crossed. And once the feet touch down, the knees can fall to the sides. Remembering that the closer your heels are into your pelvis, the deeper this is. So just to suit your body, and feel free to add support underneath your thighs. And resting your hands back on your abdomen, lengthen through the back of the neck, and let the back of the rib cage sink towards the earth. And focus on your abdomen lifting up into your palms as you inhale. Navel falling back towards the spine as you exhale. As you breathe out, let's slowly extend the legs. And then inhale, reaching your arms up over your head, take a big full body stretch. And softening as you exhale, let's loop the left hand around the right wrist this time. A little hug of the shoulder blades towards one another to create space between the ears and the shoulders. And then carefully as you inhale, arms, head, and shoulders slide to the left. Remember, you can draw your arms down at any time, so listen to your body. You can stay here or let the feet walk slightly to the left also. And then allow the right side of the body to sink down towards the floor. Carefully as you breathe in, return your feet to the middle and then the upper body. And we'll draw the arms down, bringing the knees back in towards the chest. Okay, rocking side to side there. And with your next breath in, you can roll to one side and press up or rock yourself all the way up to sitting. And we're going to come sit with one foot in front of the other, as long as that feels safe for your knees. You modify this if you need to. Add some height beneath you if that helps you sit up a little bit taller. Reaching up through the crown of the head. Think of the head, the ribs, and the pelvis all stacked one on top of the other. And from there, let's reach our hands behind us to our lower back. Start with a bend in your elbows and interlace your fingers. And keeping that nice tall spine, you can stay here with elbows bent, or you may start to extend your arms. As the arms extend, keep the back of the neck long, lifting up through the crown of the head. And then deepen your breath. You want to increase the intensity of the stretch across the chest. Hands can start to lift away from the body, but be careful that doesn't cause you to press your ribs forward and your chin forward. Stay nice and stacked through your spine. You want to deepen that more. You can begin to draw your palms towards one another. And as you breathe out, releasing the interlace of the fingers, let's touch our hands down either to our front shin or the mat in front of us. Big breath in, lift up through your sternum, drawing the shoulders back and down. And then as much as feels safe for your knees and your hips, as you exhale, slowly walk your torso forward. Let's keep reaching the chest forwards or lengthening through the spine. You can soften your neck. Add support underneath your hands or your forearms. You can also add some support for your head if you like. And then keep your sits bones sinking down towards the earth and think of breathing into your lower back. With the support of your palms, take a breath in, walking yourself all the way back up. Once you're tall, big roll of your shoulders. Have a peek down at your feet. Notice which foot is resting in front. And then stretch your legs out in front of you. Give them a little wiggle. Roll through your ankles. And when you're ready, we're going to come sit with our legs crossed again with the opposite foot forward. You can always modify that if you need to, so don't do anything that doesn't feel okay for your knees and your hips. And then stacking up again through the spine. We'll sweep our hands behind us to the low back. As you interlace your fingers here, take the opposite thumb on the outside. Okay, soften your hips and the tops of your thighs as much as you can. Your elbows can stay bent here, or you can start to extend your arms. Focusing on head floating over the ribs, ribs staying over the pelvis. And a nice, smooth, deep breath. And breathing out, let's release. Take your hands to your front shin or the mat in front of you. As you inhale, lift up and lengthen your spine. And then slowly as you exhale, walking your torso forward as far as feels safe for your body. Sternum reaching forward, lengthening through the spine. And breathing into wherever tension is showing up. Big breath in. Let's walk ourselves back upright. And breathing out, take your shoulders back. Extending your legs out in front of you, giving them another shake. Keeping your feet about hip width apart, let's take our hands behind us, fingertips pointing away from you. From here, you think of hands being about shoulder width, maybe slightly wider apart. If this feels too intense for your wrists, you could add a folded up blanket or a cushion or a block underneath the heels of the hands, so there's less of a bend or a crease in the backs of the wrists there. I want you to spread your fingers wide, hug your shoulder blades towards one another, lift up through your sternum. Your gaze can stay forward or your gaze can lift up. If you want to deepen this, walk your pinky fingers closer together and try to unlock your elbows. Sternum lifting up towards the sky, big deep breaths, opening up through the front of the body. Taking a breath out, shifting the weight forward. Let's release the weight from the hands. You can take the backs of the hands onto the mat, gently open up the backs of the wrists. Releasing the wrists, giving them a roll. Keeping your legs hip width apart with your ankles flexed. If you haven't already added some height beneath you, you may want to just help untuck your tailbone. And placing your palms down on the floor beside you, shoulders at ease. Inhale, lift up through your sternum. You can contract into your core as you exhale, hinge from your hips, folding forward over your thighs. We're going to try to lengthen the spine as much as we can. So think of your sternum reaching forward towards your toes. Keep the tops of the feet drawing towards the shins. Let your arms relax, neck relax. Slow, deep breaths here. Contract your abdominal muscles as you breathe in. Carefully draw yourself back up. Nice long exhale to roll your shoulders. And from here, if you're sitting on anything, move it off to the side and let's come onto our hands and our knees. From all fours, place your wrists under your shoulders, your knees under your hips. And with a long breath out, push the floor away from you with your palms as you round your spine. Inhale, extending the spine, lifting the tailbone, the chest, and the gaze. And let's keep flowing through this, following your own breath. Exhaling to round through the spine, and then inhaling to extend through your spine. You can close your eyes if you like, and just focus on the sound of your breathing and the movement of your spine. Next time you exhale, keeping your spine rounded. Rest the tops of your feet on the floor with your big toes touching. Slowly take your tailbone to your heels and come to child's pose. Your knees can be close together or wide apart, your choice. Your arms can remain out in front of you if that feels safe for your shoulders. Adjust that if you need to. Some big deep breaths down into the lower back. With your tailbone sinking back towards your heels, take a breath in and walk your hands over towards the right. Always welcome to support your forehead with your right arm. Next time you breathe in, walk your hands over to the left side. Big breath in, coming back to the middle, taking your hands shoulder width apart. And looking up to the top of your mat with your next inhale, come onto the belly. And once you're on your abdomen, rest the tops of your feet on the floor. And then lifting your chest slightly, bring your forearms out in front of you. So your elbows and your palms are shoulder width apart. This is too intense for your low back. Just take that shape further forward away from your hip bones. And keeping the tops of the feet heavy on the floor, engage your abdominal muscles. Let's breathe in, reach your chest forward and up. You choose to either gaze down, straight ahead, or up towards the ceiling, whatever feels okay for your neck. Deepening your breath as you lift up through your chest. And then exhale, slide your elbows to the side, slowly lowering down. You can support your forehead with your hands. Give your hips a rock from side to side. And then taking your hands underneath your shoulders. Contract your abdominal muscles. Inhale, come up to your hands and your knees. We're going to walk our wrists slightly ahead of our shoulders and shoulder width apart here with the knees underneath the hips and the toes tucked under. Engaging your abdominal muscles with a big breath in, lift your hips up high, extending the legs, coming into downward dog. You can always come back down to child's pose anytime you like. Contract your abdominal muscles. Inhale, right foot steps up between the hands, helping that foot forward till the right knee is over the ankle. As you exhale, lower your left heel to the mat, turning your left toes in deeply. Let's take hands onto hips, breathe in, reach your chest forward and up, coming to warrior one. So squaring our abdomen towards the top edge of the mat. And press your left heel down into the floor. You can stay here, palms on hips. Or as you inhale, reach your arms up overhead. We're going to loop the right hand around the left wrist. I want you to let your shoulders settle down away from your ears. Try to keep your ribs back over your pelvis. And then sinking into your back heel as you exhale, take a gentle side bend to the right. As you breathe in, come back to center. As you breathe out, lower your hands down to the floor, lifting up through your back heel. We're going to touch our left knee down to the mat. So add some extra cushioning there if you need to. You might also want to bring some height underneath your palms. We're going to have one hand on either side of that front foot. And then I want you to wiggle your right toes a little further forward and slowly shift your pelvis back. Option to keep your right foot on the mat today. That's a little bit easier. If you want to deepen the intensity, draw the top of your foot towards your shin. Bring your right hip back, a left hip forward. With a breath out, we'll fold over our leg. Try not to lock your knee here, a little micro bend or a deeper bend if that feels safer for your body. As you inhale, shift forward, taking your knee back over your ankle, moving blocks off to the side. Planting your palms on the floor, fingers spread wide. Engage your abdominal muscles. When your back toes tucked under, lift your left knee, lift your hips. As you inhale, step back to downward dog. Child's pose is there for you too, so take the option that feels best for your body. With your core supporting you, deep breath in, we'll step the left foot forward. Stack the left knee over the ankle. As you breathe out, touch your right heel down to the floor, toes turned in deeply. And when you're ready, palms on your hips. We'll inhale the chest forward and up. Squaring the torso forward, stacking ribs over the pelvis. You can stay with hands on hips or breathe in and sweep the arms back up over the head, this time looping the left hand around the right wrist. Your shoulders settle down away from your ears. Keep drawing your navel back towards your spine. And then sinking down into your right heel as exhale, side bend to the left. Still pressing your right hip bone forward. And inhale to center. Exhale to lower the hands down to the floor, lifting up through your right heel, touching your right knee down to the earth. Maybe adding some height underneath your palms. And wiggling your left toes a little further forward. Let's slowly shift the hips back. Left foot can stay on the floor, or you can point toes up towards the sky. With a nice long breath out, let's fold over the left leg. And think of the sternum reaching forward towards the toes. And take a breath in, shifting forward. Bring your left knee back over your ankle, moving your blocks off to the side, palms on the mat. And with your next breath in, you can step back to down dog or go straight to child's pose. If you're in downward dog, contract your abdominal muscles. Inhale, lift your heels up high, shifting weight into your hands. As you exhale, lightly touch your knees down to the floor. Let's all sink back into child's pose. The option to rest your hands into your forehead or take your palms back beside your feet. And breathe into your abdomen and your lower back. Next time you inhale, let's extend our palms out in front of us, looking forward. Come onto the belly. From here, on your abdomen, I want you to extend your arms out in front of you. Tops of the feet resting on the floor. Let's walk our hands towards the right. And then draw your right knee up alongside your body. From there, you can rest your left cheek onto your left arm. We're going to start to roll onto the left side. And you can start there. So right knee's on the floor, rolling onto our left side. Shoulders and hips are stacked. Do you see how that feels? That might feel like enough today. If you want to deepen this, you have a few options here. So one option would be to bring your right arm alongside your ear. Another option would be to start to roll your right shoulder back. So you begin to twist more through your spine, and then your right arm can go anywhere on that range of motion of your shoulder that feels like a nice stretch for your chest without creating pain in your shoulder joint. Your right knee might lift slightly off the floor, like maybe an inch or so, but not too much, because we want to keep our hips as stacked as possible to make sure that we're rotating through our spine rather than through the pelvis. And I want you to make sure your head is supported. So maybe you take a block underneath the back of the skull. Keep breathing deeply. As you inhale, slowly roll back onto the abdomen. Lengthening your legs back behind you, taking a moment here in the center to move through the shoulders or the neck or the lower back. And again, we're going to reach both arms out in front of us. Walk the hands towards the left. And then draw your left knee up alongside your body. From there, resting your right cheek onto your right arm, you start to roll onto your right side. You might pause there today, just resting on the right side. If you want to deepen this, your left arm can come alongside your ear. You can start to roll your left shoulder back, opening the chest more towards the sky, making sure your neck has enough support. Perhaps that left knee lifts slightly off the floor, but just an inch or so. Focus on twisting through your spine. And breathing in, rolling back onto the belly. And taking a moment here in the middle to loosen up your neck, your shoulders, your lower back. And stacking your palms underneath your shoulders. Contract through your core as you inhale. Come up to your hands and your knees. And from here, you can make your way to child's pose or downward dog. And from downward dog, let's breathe in, slowly walking the feet forward towards the palms, coming into a forward fold. If you're in child's pose, you can make your way to standing forward fold in whatever way makes most sense for your body. And your feet hip width apart, little micro bend in your knees, soften your neck, soften your arms. Pressing down through the soles of your feet, chin towards your chest. Engage your core. Inhale and roll yourself up to standing. Once you're tall, breathe out, roll your shoulders back. Pausing here for a moment, closing your eyes or softening your gaze. And placing your hands onto your hips, let's cross our right foot over our left foot. All 10 toes pointing forward, hips squared forward, little micro bend in the knees. I want you to press into the base of the big toes. And from here, let's inhale, sticking the right arm up. Engage your core as you exhale, we're going to bend to the left side. Using wherever your neck feels comfy. Big breath in, coming to center. As you breathe out, relax your arm down. You can uncross your legs, shake away any tension. Palms back on the hips. This time, left foot over the right foot. Hips squared forward. Try not to lock your knees here. Press down through the base of the big toes. We'll breathe in. Left arm reaches up. Engaging your core. Exhale, bending to the right. Inhale to the middle. Exhale your arm down, uncrossing the legs, shaking away tension. Returning to mountain pose with your feet hip width apart. Breathe in, lift your chest up. Contract your core, exhale, chin forward, slowly rolling down to a forward fold. Deepen the bend in your knees if you need to. Be nice to your low back. Couple breaths here, softening the neck, maybe holding onto the elbows or the backs of the calves. Breathing out, releasing your hands down towards the floor. You can come straight down to sitting or walk your feet a little wider, turn your toes out slightly, carefully coming down into a squat. Making sure your heels are supported by the floor or cushion or rolled up blanket. Hands can also stay down on the ground to support you or palms can touch. We'll take a few big belly breaths. With the help of your palms, coming all the way down to sitting. Reaching your legs out in front of you. And from here, I want you to slide your right leg off to the side and draw your left heel in towards your pelvis. You can prop up your left knee. That feels better for your joint. Then I want you to root down heavily through both sits bones, flex your right ankle. We're gonna sit up tall, and as you breathe out, turn towards your left knee. Rest your right hand on your right leg, left hand on your hip. And as you breathe out, let's slide our right hand down our leg, drawing the left shoulder back. So chest is open towards the sky, left thigh bone is staying nice and heavy. Gazing where your neck is at ease. Holding here, maybe inhaling the left arm up. If your chest is nice and open towards the ceiling, maybe left arm alongside your ear. Contracting through your core. Let's inhale, carefully coming all the way back up. And breathing out, turning to face forward. We're just going to change legs. So left leg stretches out to the side. Right heel draws in. Maybe you prop up your right knee. Okay, we have our left toes pointing up towards the ceiling, planting down through your sits bones evenly. With a breath out, twisting your spine towards your right knee. Left hand on your left leg, right hand on your hip. You'll breathe in, sit taller. And then exhale, left hand slides down your left leg, chesting open towards the ceiling. And we're keeping our right thigh bone really heavy towards the floor. Maybe you inhale the right arm up. We want our chest to be as open towards the sky as possible. So you can stay there or take your arm alongside your ear as long as that doesn't cause your top shoulder to roll forward. Core supporting you. Inhale, carefully drawing up. As you breathe out, we'll turn to face forward, and we're going to stretch both legs out to the side. So you might want to sit up on a bit of height here if that feels like it helps your tailbone to untuck. And then with your feet wide, draw the tops of your feet towards your shins, relaxing your hands down in front of you. Let's lift up through the chest. With a really long breath out, let your torso come forward, adding more height beneath you if that helps you untuck through your tailbone. And keeping your upper body really heavy and relaxed. And just focusing in on your breath. And using your hands to support you, breathe in and carefully come back upright. Hands can come to the backs of the thighs, helping your legs back to the center. Give them a little rock side to side. And then any height you're sitting on, move it out of your way. Shifting forward on your mat so there's lots of space behind you. Carefully come down onto your back. We'll bring the knees into the chest and then rock from side to side. With the knees in the center, slowly tip your feet down to the ground. And from here, I want you to cross your right leg on top of your left leg. So you have one knee stacked on top of the other as if you're sitting in a chair with your legs crossed. With your core engaged, carefully as you inhale, shift the pelvis slightly to the right. And then you can stretch your arms out in a T in line with your shoulders. Also be face up or face down, so find what feels good for you. Keeping both shoulders on the ground, nice and slow as you exhale, lower your knees to the left. If this feels like too much, I want you to uncross your legs. You can also add support under your legs. Make sure there's no straining in your lower back. Keep both shoulders on the mat. And then breathe down into your lower back. Contract through your core as you inhale. Carefully return your knees to the middle, shifting the pelvis back to the center. You can uncross your legs and squeeze them in towards you for a couple of breaths. Again, we'll slowly lower the feet back down to the floor. This time, left leg crosses over top of the right leg. Use your abdominal muscles to support you as you inhale. Carefully shift your pelvis slightly to the left. And stretching the arms out in a T. Slowly as you exhale, sink the knees over to the right. Remembering your legs can uncross or you can add support under your legs. There shouldn't be any straining in your low back here. And keep both shoulder blades digging down into the floor. Breathing down into the lower back. And drawing your navel towards your spine. Inhale the knees back to center. Shifting the hips back to the middle. And uncrossing the legs. One more hug of the knees in towards the chest. And then when you're ready, we're going to come right back to where we started. So I want you to stretch out on your back. Grab socks or sweaters or a sip of water first if you need to. Support your body in any way that feels good for you. Once you're comfy, I want you to close your eyes. Let the back of the body sink heavily into the floor. And let your breath settle into a natural rhythm. Staying conscious of your breath without trying to change it or control it. Each time you exhale, allow the body to become more and more relaxed. More and more still. Slowly invite your awareness back into your body. Start to move your fingers and toes. Tilt your head slowly side to side. And take a big full body stretch. Hug your knees to your chest and rock side to side. And then rolling onto one side, slowly press up to sitting. Once you're comfy in your seat, you close your eyes or soften your gaze. And drawing your attention back into your body. Let's take one more big full breath in and a nice long breath out. Thank you for practicing with me today.